The competitive balance review that is currently being worked on by the AFL has led to frustration from everyone. Ken Hinkley was recently on AFL 360 and complained that decisions around some of the major talking points in the competition have still not been made. Some of these have been ongoing for a year or so. All of the 18 clubs gave their recommendations around these topics and what they think should be on top of the AFL's agenda. This is just one part of a growing frustration around the AFL right now, which has been pretty static when it comes to competitive balance problems and, more importantly, solutions. There is plenty that can be fixed up, and most of it seems relatively simple.
With flying colours, if you ask me the question, what is holding the ball, I don't think I could answer it clearly right now, to be honest.
Is that muddier than it has been in the past in your mind?
I think for sure in the 17, 18 years I've been in the league, this has been probably the most confused I've been with the rule holding the ball in my career for sure.
What a surprise! The AFL is back at it with rule tweaks and adjustments halfway through a season. Now, this isn't specifically to do with the competitive balance review, but it's still worth a mention. For whatever reason, umpires were clearly giving way too long to players with the ball when they were being tackled. Now, the problem was only rarely seen in games, but when it did occur, it was glaringly wrong. It just doesn't look right in so many ways. So apparently from round 12 onwards, when a ball is locked in a tackle, standing tackles with no prior opportunity, or a pack of players mounted on top of each other, the whistle will be blown much quicker. I don't know why we have to go through this every year with the rules, and the AFL secretly telling umpires to tweak specific things here and there before the season starts. We always end up in the same spot. It's dumb, frustrating, and difficult to explain to non-AFL fans. If a high tackle is high, pay it. If it's a push in the back, pay it. And if it's incorrect disposal, pay the free kick. To me it seems simple, but inside umpire locker rooms, it must be a little more complicated for whatever reason. Getting back to the competitive balance review, there are a few main discussion points. Let's start with the trading aspect of it. I'll be shocked if all three of these things aren't implemented soon. Mid-season trading is a must. First of all, it allows players not getting a game to move at the midpoint of the season and get AFL game time. It also allows teams with a severe injury list or a key player out for the season an opportunity to trade to try and replace them if they are a contender. For example, Melbourne could use a forward ruck at the moment to help Max Gawn out, so this would allow them to get Rory Lobb from the Bulldogs. And it opens up so many possibilities for blockbuster moves in season that will help create narratives and add to the key part of the AFL, its entertainment. However, there is a catch. To implement a mid-season trade period, it's time we put clubs in full control. No more trade vetoes from players unless it's in their contracts. The median salary is booming right now, and players are earning more than enough money to pack and move interstate if required, and it's not like the team they get traded to isn't going to help them settle in and provide assistance. Trust me, they will, whether they live alone, have a family, or have another living situation. How is it fair a player under contract, like Jason Horne-Francis, can demand a trade and most of the time go to the exact team they want, yet AFL clubs are stuck in terms of list management because players must agree to getting traded? It's ultra player friendly, which I get, but with that salary cap number going exponentially higher, it's time players sacrifice. The final part is trading future picks. Again, this goes to flexibility. It helps teams use their future assets and trade them for the now. The AFL allows teams to use picks one draft in the future, but moving these up to 2 or 3 seasons ahead can help out. Say for North Melbourne, it could assist them getting in senior talent if they believe the drafted players they have right now are good enough, and could also help a team like Richmond maybe trade a current star for picks 2 seasons in the future and help them restock. However, I think 3 seasons in the future should be the limit, as we do want some form of a mechanic to help protect clubs from sabotaging all of their future draft picks in one trade period. The other big focus is the draft. The Next Generation Academy, Father-Son, and the New South Wales and Queensland academies are critical to get right. Currently we use a point system to equate a certain value to each pick in the draft. So for example, if a father-son player is selected at say pick 6, then the club eligible for that player will need to swap draft picks in to equal the points of pick 6. However, the NGA system was recently altered and can only be in play from pick 40 onwards, yet the New South Wales and Queensland academies are available at every selection. There are a few directions to go. Firstly, we have to get rid of the top 40 limitation for the NGA academies. It defeats the purpose. Mac Andrew was an NGA product at Melbourne who spent significant time with him and his family, yet the system allowed Gold Coast to swoop in and take him at pick 5. This means the NGA, New South Wales and Queensland academies and father-son system are all in equal play. But the big change will have to come with the bidding system. Right now, a team who wants a high pick father-son can just swap a bunch of third round picks onward. It means they don't have many selections in the draft, but can still keep or split their first and second round picks. These are the selections Collingwood took in the draft to get Dacos at pick 4. I'd say it's unbelievable value. So from this point onwards, how about making it a serious choice for the club to pick the player? You can keep the point system if you want, but up it significantly to the point where a team should have to give up at least their first round pick, if not more, to acquire the player. Doesn't this seem fair? Having the chance to actually bid on a player in itself is a huge advantage, so at least make the clubs really think about matching a bid by making them more expensive. Some have also put the idea out of keeping the top 10 picks pure, meaning none of these systems can enter that portion of the draft. The AFL is unique in world sport with the academies and father-son, but it does feel the way it operates now is a touch off. The third point is the National Reserve competition. It's something Port Adelaide and Adelaide have been knocking down the door for forever, yet a club like Fremantle, who is associated with the Peel Thunder, don't want the move to happen and are happy to stay in the waffle. But it seems like a no-brainer to introduce a national second tier. With the South Australian and Western Australian clubs on their own, it means the VFL competition is a higher standard. It's full of officially listed AFL players and former ones, so it does in theory allow drop players to play against quality opponents most weeks. Implementing it may take time, and you can fairly argue the health of the VFL, Sandford, Waffle and New South Wales and Queensland clubs may be a concern. The setup of it shouldn't be too hard though. The teams can match the AFL fixture for that season, and it allows the AFL and reserve teams to fly together along with all the staff. This logistical part with travel and resources was the big concern from Fremantle, but surely second tier games would attract pretty strong crowds and sponsors compared to regular waffle games, but maybe not. A National Reserve competition does make sense from a competitive balance viewpoint, but it does leave big holes with the current state leagues, and no doubt their quality of players and their number of teams will drop off. It does seem to be a 50-50 call for the AFL, who surely understand in theory it makes sense, but might diminish the lower levels of Australian rules football. Other important focuses seem to be with interstate travel. I'm not sure what the AFL can do about this, especially because the gather round is in Adelaide for the next few seasons. Unless you rotate it to every state outside Victoria or put in multiple gather rounds, travel will just be a part of the way the league works. Collingwood specifically mentioned shorter quarters, most likely down from 20 to 18 minutes with time added on, but will this make a big difference? Maybe, but I can see it being tried in the pre-season first. It seems the AFL has never been healthier in terms of finances and attendance, but at Clubland, tension may also have never been higher. No matter what you think about the contentious topics, I think we all want answers on these issues because some of them may change the complexity of the sport in the future.